Scrappy peeps, Suzanna here today for Elle Studio, and I'm sharing with you a layout that I created using the newly released XOXO paper stack in the middle there. I used all 12 designs that are included in this paper stack. Some of them may have just been in little bits, but I still used all 12 pieces, and I used them on a layout featuring myself. So I am not one for resolutions, but I am definitely one for I've never done one little word before, but my word for this year is progress. And it comes from the phrase progress over perfection. I tend to be a perfectionist. We've talked about that, I think, in my videos before about how I'm type A, highlighted, bolded, and underlined. And so my word is progress because I want to work on myself on working towards goals and not being the perfectionist that I tend to be and getting hung up on those things. And my journaling, which will go under a flap that I'm creating here, is going to talk about that, which I have not done for these photos because it's very private and it's not something that I want to air publicly. So what I'm doing is I'm creating a flap. So I have the ledger paper underneath, and then I'm folding this with a bone folder, and then I've just cut that little bit enough that I'm going to put my double-sided tape from Thermo Web, and that is then going to secure the small amount that will allow the flap to come over the edge of the ledger paper there. You can see from the photos, I don't actually have a way of adhering that down. I want to get some Velcro and just use some Velcro to attach that there. So what I've done is I've basically used 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of the pattern papers there and a black and white photo of myself. Now, I recently shared an Elle Studio layout with a black and white photo, and I've done that again here, and it is a larger photo. But the reason I went with the black and white photo here is because there is a ton of color in this pattern paper collection. And I wanted the photo to stand out, and I wanted the color to shine through on to make the photo stand out, really. And so I converted my photo and I just cut a long skinny strip, sizing it knowing that the paper was going to be 8 1/4 tall. And then I figured I just sort of created different balances in strips moving across the page. So I used 2 more of the papers, one the gray for progress, and then the pinky red is perfection. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 papers there. You can see I've got this black and white, and what I'm struggling with here is where I'm going to put this title. I have so much color here that I'm not quite sure how I'm going to ground this. So I have to walk away for a minute, and now I've decided, well, I'm going to work on the tag. So I wanted a pull tab or something that indicates open this for the journaling. So this month, if you were a subscriber, you got this free stamp set, and so I'm going to stamp it in that aqua tealy color. Yes, we've had this debate. And then I'm going to use my coordinating die. It does not come with it. This is a die that's been previously released, and that is going to be the front of it. And then I want to adhere that to the back side, and I'm going to use the red patterned piece, tone on tone piece of pattern paper for that, and I will do that a little bit later on in the layout. But first, I'm going to tackle some hand stitching. I'm just going to show you one of these rows, but I am going to do a different stitch on all 2, 4, 6, 8 of these rows, and I've got coordinating colors using DMC floss there. So I wanted to show you how I do that, and simply I am using a Tim Holtz ruler that has holes in it, and I'm using my puncher, and I am literally piercing, paper piercer, I'm sorry, not puncher, paper piercer, and I am piercing holes. So this is going to be a cross stitch, and so I literally have a row across and then a symmetrical row down below it. Each thread comes with 6, is that right? 6 threads. A full strand comes with 6 threads. I always take 2 out because I find that it's too thick otherwise, and I don't want to tear the paper. It just is what I have always had as my preference there. You do want to be careful when you're doing hand stitching, what you pierce the paper with. You do want to pre-pierce it. It just makes it a whole lot easier. But if you pierce too thick of a hole, or if your needle is thicker than your thread is, it's going to be, you'll see through the hole, and you want the thread to be just thick enough to fill that through. So I'm literally doing the diagonal from bottom to top one way all the way down, and then I'm going to return and finish that off, which is what I've done there. And then I tie a knot in the back and secure it. And so just showing you that finished stitch, there we go, running the thread through some of the bottom stitches, tying a knot, and then I'm going to secure it with some of my artist's tape there, which is acid free. And then I'm going to repeat that with all of the other 7 colors and their coordinating thread. And that is the finished product there. So I am going to do the X twice, and I believe that's the only oh, and the cross stitch twice. So by the X I mean like the cross, it's a cross. And so in order to adhere that, I'm going to run this through my Creative Station from Xyron. It's just the easiest way with all of that thread on the back of it to get that down and adhered. I could use double-sided tape, but this was quick and easy, and an easy way to get that through there. Now that's a little bit bigger than I need it to be, but that's perfectly fine. Because it saves me from having to trim the stitched edges, and then that way getting some fraying there. So that is the top, let's call it 3/4 of the page. I know I'm going to use this yellow label. This is one of the January labels, and I'm going to use that to house progress, because otherwise you lose the word with the gray on the black and white photo. So that's the red that I ran through my machine. I'm going to run through both of these through my Xyron X, and it creates a nice secure pull tab to indicate that there is journaling underneath there. I am going to use the numbers, and I don't think I do this on video, from the date stamp, and I'm going to put 48 because this is about this year's phrase, goal, mantra really for me. And I am 48 this year. I just turned 48. So progress over perfection. So this month, as part of the add-ons, there are also some new puffy stickers, those hot pink puffy stickers. I'm using that for over. And then I'm turning this into more of a phrase. So I use that celebrate from that card from the kit. And then I'm also, in a minute, I'm going to cut out from another card, trying my best to. So the whole phrase becomes trying my best to celebrate progress over perfection. What you can't see that I'm doing now is I'm going through the die cuts that come with the kit, and I'm trying to find a way to get a little bit more color in the bottom there. I need to fill up that white space, but I don't need to fill it completely, but I also need it to make sense and be logical. And so you can see I have that run of color on the right hand side, and what's really dominant is those stripes with the hand stitching. And so I feel like I need a balancing run of color on the left hand side underneath that black and white photo to tie everything together, which is how I come to that cluster there that houses the title. I also feel like I have incorporated enough color there, but I feel like something needs to go on that right hand side over there. So you can see I'm sort of shuffling through things. I really liked that remember this, but the, it doesn't seem to be, it just seems to kind of be floating and hanging out there. So it reminds me that I have that journal card, and I really like how the red at the top of that journal card with the heart ties into the red in my title, which then ties into the red at the top of the layout and creates a kind of a visual triangle, because it's a very dominant, sort of more glaring color, and it just ties the layout together nicely. I added the die cut, that purple die cut that comes with the kit at the bottom, again, just for a little bit of texture to the page. That black label at the top there is from the month collection that was released, I want to say in October, and it just says January. And I like that it's black against the black. And so the things that I've used by using the letters 2021, by using 48, my age, and by using January, it implies this is a fresh beginning. And I don't believe that every year means a new page. Yet I think that we build year upon year upon year, which is also why I don't do resolutions per se. But I do like to have a reflection back on the past year, meaning better perspective on the year moving forward. And so that is what this page is about. And I feel like I've got a lot of elements that that don't speak that directly, but allude to that. So because the letters are very fine in Progress and Perfection, I'm using liquid adhesive. And you can see how I've tried to contain that element, that title, to just those two columns in the columns on the top third of the layout. And then you can see how that red from that little strip on the right hand side fits perfectly nestled underneath the stripes of that other pattern paper. So I have incorporated yet another pattern paper. It's just a strip. It's the XOXO is the tone on tone that's underneath that red right there. I don't want too much of it. I just want enough to create that balance against the stripes that are above it. And then I am going to get my, so let me see, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So that's 8. So I am going to incorporate, what I'm going to actually end up doing off camera is there is a geometric aqua that I used on the layout that I shared 2 days ago. I'm going to put a thin strip of that down that blue. That blue is very dark and heavy, and I wanted to just make that a smaller rectangle. And so I'm going to incorporate that way. And then the other thing I'm going to do is use the black and white hearts in that cluster where the 2021 is. And then I'm also going to just use one word phrase from the word pattern paper there. So what I missed telling you that I just did while I was just rearranging things there was I put this month with the kit, there are some amazing puffy hearts, as well as some amazing acetate hearts. So I used 3 of the puffy hearts. You can see that just to the right of the photo there, to pull in a little bit more color down the page, just a little bit of visual interest. So here I am cutting out the phrase, "Hey beautiful," and I'm going to put that at the bottom of that blue right there. Again, it's kind of a cheat in incorporating my 12th piece of pattern paper, but that is what that is going to be. So I've got that black and white there. I'm going to apply my adhesive directly to the hearts there, and that way I can use the acetate letter numbers, and you will not see the adhesive behind it. And that, my friends, is how I wrap up my page. So kind of my personal intro to 2021, stating my mantra, as well as using all 12 pages, yay me, designs from the XOXO paper pad from Elle Studio. I'm going to link you to all the product that I use down below. This is an affiliate link. You've got some close-ups. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to leave them in the box down below. And I'd love to hear what your one little word or your mantra or your thoughts for getting you through 2021 are going to be. If you want to leave that in the description box down below, I'd love to read that too. Thanks for stopping in today. I hope you're doing well. Take care.